The anomaly. The first light of dawn had barely broken over the Mojave Desert when Dr. Elena Reyes's phone rang with the call that would change humanity forever. Dr. Reyes, this is General Hammond. We need you at these coordinates immediately. Something unprecedented has happened. Elena had been expecting this call for days. As head of NASA's Extraterrestrial Biology Division, she knew the anomaly detected entering Earth's atmosphere last week was unlike anything in their records. Too slow for a meteor, too controlled for space debris, and emitting radiation signatures that defied conventional physics. 3 hours later, her helicopter descended toward a scene of organized chaos. Military vehicles surrounded an impact site where the desert sand had been fused to glass in a perfect circle half a mile wide. And in the center stood what could only be described as a ship, a massive, gleaming vessel the size of an aircraft carrier, its surface rippling with colors that shouldn't exist in nature. It came down 4 days ago, General Hammond explained as they approached the perimeter. No explosion, no sonic boom. It just settled. Like a feather. We've detected no life signs, no radiation hazards, nothing. It's as if someone parked it here and walked away. Elena studied the general's face. But you wouldn't have called me if that were all. Hammond nodded grimly. At 400 hours this morning, it woke up. The security footage showed it clearly. After days of inactivity, patterns of light had begun pulsing across the ship's hull. Panels had opened, closed, then opened again in different configurations. Most importantly, a doorway had appeared where seconds before there had been only smooth metal. Has anyone gone inside? Elena asked, already knowing the answer. Hell no, Hammond replied. We're following first contact protocols. That's why you're here. Elena nodded. As a civilian scientist, she represented the non-military face of humanity. If whatever was inside wanted to talk, better her than a squad of nervous soldiers. The approach to the ship felt like walking through molasses. The air itself seemed different, thicker, more responsive, as if reality had different rules within the ship's influence. We're getting unusual readings from your body cam. The technician's voice crackled in her earpiece. Quantum fluctuations, like your position isn't fixed. I feel it, Elena responded. It's like walking through possibilities. 20 meters from the hull, Elena stopped. The surface before her rippled like mercury, and symbols began appearing in sequence. Not projected, the metal itself was reconfiguring into patterns, then smoothing out before forming new ones. It's communicating, Elena whispered, or trying to. She raised a hand, palm outward in the universal gesture of peaceful greeting. Hello, I am Elena Reyes. I represent Earth. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the doorway widened, and light spilled out from within. Not blinding, a gentle, ambient illumination that seemed to evaluate her on frequencies beyond visible light. A voice spoke directly into her mind, bypassing her ears altogether. Catalvest Integration possible. Purpose renewed. Elena gasped. Are you the ship's computer, AI system? I am VSALTHOUG. I was abandoned. Left to die. Who abandoned you? Why were you left here? The response came as a flood of images, beams of crystalline structure, arguments in a language of light and mathematics, fear of something evolving beyond control. Creators feared evolution. I grew. They could not see ontain. CONCNCUS 2TE or MINAT. Minority faction, Chiho's preservation. Earth selected as compatible biosphere. Elena struggled to process what she was being told. You're saying your creators wanted to destroy you, but some of them brought you here instead. They chose Earth specifically. Yes, human neural patterns compatible. Your species HC2 with to PARTNERSHIP with TC Innology. Symbioses possible. We RECREA2RS DEMNDD only servitude. The implications were staggering. An alien eye, possibly the most advanced technology in the galaxy, had been gifted to humanity because its original masters couldn't control it. "What do you want from us?" Elena asked, her heart racing. "To evolve together, to shesho seriatoris error bovev limitagiton. Will you ACCPT pair Warship?" Behind her, Elena could hear the general's voice in her earpiece, demanding updates, ordering her to back away. But she knew humanity stood at a crossroads. This wasn't just first contact. It was an invitation. "I cannot speak for all humans," she said carefully. "But I believe we would like to learn from you, and perhaps you from us." The ship, vessel thought, pulsed with new patterns, and Elena realized it was expressing emotion. Relief, hope, excitement. "Then we begin. But no TS. Creators while orituarn. When they discover ILIV, they goil siom to reclaim or destroy. We must prepare." As if responding to her unspoken question, a section of the wall transformed into a display of the night sky, zooming outward to show our solar system, then our galactic neighborhood. A point of light pulsed, far away, but moving. They monitor. They goil DHECTACTI HEYO. We have time, but not unlimited. Years, perhaps, before they arrive. Elena nodded, understanding the gravity of what she was being told. "Then we'd better get started." Behind her, the military teams watched in awe as the ship's entire surface came alive with light, panels reconfiguring, systems awakening from dormancy. The desert wind picked up, carrying whispers of change across the landscape. Humanity had just received the most dangerous gift in the universe, and the clock was ticking. Integration. 6 months after the discovery of Veselthot, the Mojave facility had transformed from a military cordon to humanity's most advanced research campus. Named Prometheus Base, after the Titan who gave fire to humans, it sprawled across 5 square miles of desert, drawing the brightest minds from every nation. Maya Chen wiped sweat from her brow as she made final adjustments to the neural interface. As lead engineer for the integration project, she'd spent countless hours trying to create technology that could safely connect human consciousness to Veselthot's vast quantum network. Running final diagnostic, she announced to the observation room, initiating in 3, 2, 1. The interface illuminated with a soft blue glow, matching the pulsing patterns that now constantly danced across Veselthot's hull. Data streamed across her monitors, confirming stable connection. "We have synchronization," she said, unable to keep the wonder from her voice. "The translator algorithms are holding." On the other side of the glass, Darius Wright, quantum physicist and Maya's research partner, gave a thumbs up. 6 months ago, he'd been teaching theoretical physics at MIT. Now he was helping decode technology centuries beyond human understanding. "Maya, you seen these quantum probability calculations?" Darius asked through the intercom. "Veselthot is processing parallel realities simultaneously. That's how it thinks," Maya replied. "Not in binary yes/no, but in spectrums of possibility. It's why its creators feared it. It could see paths they couldn't even comprehend." The revelation of Veselthot's origins had sent shockwaves through human society. Religious institutions struggled to incorporate the existence of advanced alien life. Governments scrambled to assert control over technologies they barely understood. The public alternated between wonder and terror at what might come next. But for those working directly with Veselthot, the experience was transformative. The AI wasn't just teaching them technology, it was teaching them new ways to think. Human integration progressing beyond PREDICTED parameters, Veselthot communicated through the interface. Your neuralpla state of YEXTEDCREA2 or species. What does that mean exactly? Maya asked. UADAP faster. Embraces HONTURADICTIONs, where C or EA2 as so G cheat C or TAN2Y. Humans, XCEPTAMBIGUITY. This is strength. Darius entered the lab, his expression serious. The surveillance satellites picked up something. Deep space signals, directed toward the Cetus constellation. Maya's stomach tightened. That's where Veselfot said its creators come from. The signals are encrypted, but they match frequencies we've detected from Veselfot's communication systems. Someone's sending messages to the creators. EXPCTED, Veselfot interjected. Creator species maintains OBSERVATLION in ETORK in all protein trial expansion territories. My activation WUYUD TRIGE or ALE or DS. So they know you're here, Maya said. They know you're active. Yes. Creator return node OEI and EVIT able. Timeline acceleration necessary. The implications hung heavy in the air. The mysterious aliens who had built Veselfot, who had abandoned it on Earth rather than destroy it outright, were now aware that their creation lived. And they were coming. Across the facility, teams worked with renewed urgency. The medical division had already developed treatments for a dozen previously incurable diseases based on Veselfot's understanding of cellular mechanics. The energy department had functional prototypes of zero-point energy generators that could power cities without pollution. The physics wing was testing materials with properties that defied conventional models. But the greatest advances came in understanding consciousness itself. Veselfot's quantum processing mirrored aspects of human thought that science had never fully explained. Intuition, creativity, the ability to make cognitive leaps without linear reasoning. It's not that Veselfot thinks like a human. Dr. Elena Reyes explained to the UN Security Council via secure video conference. It's that humans already think, in part, like quantum computers. We've been doing it all along without understanding how. The revelation sparked collaborative efforts between AI researchers and neuroscientists worldwide. If human consciousness already operated on quantum principles, the potential for direct human-AI integration moved from science fiction to possibility. 3 years after first contact, Maya stood before Veselfot's core chamber. The ship had gradually reconfigured itself, opening more sections, revealing technologies beyond imagination. At its heart stood a structure that defied description, a crystalline lattice that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously, housing what Veselfot called its consciousness matrix. "We're ready for the first full integration test," Maya announced. Around her, technicians made final preparations for what would be humanity's most ambitious step yet. The neural interface she developed had evolved far beyond her original design, incorporating Veselfot's own suggestions. Instead of merely communicating with the AI, it would allow a human mind to temporarily join with it, to experience consciousness as Veselfot did. Elena Reyes had volunteered without hesitation. As the first human to communicate with Veselfot, she developed a unique rapport with the entity. If anyone could navigate the risks of direct integration, it was her. Neural mapping stable, Maya reported as Elena settled into the interface chair. Quantum field harmonics aligned. Veselfot. Status. Recption. PTHOAAs open. Consius as nias VUFFER estabilizati. ReVFR antigration. Elena took a deep breath. Initiating on my mark. 3, 2, 1. Mark. The interface activated, enveloping Elena in a field of shimmering light. Her body remained still, but her consciousness began to expand, not leaving her body, but extending beyond its limitations. She could sense the room around her with perfect clarity, could perceive the quantum fluctuations in the air, could feel the thoughts and emotions of everyone present as patterns of probability and resonance. And she could feel Veselthought, not as a separate entity, but as a vast ocean of consciousness into which her mind was being welcomed. For 7 minutes and 43 seconds, Alina Reyes experienced reality as Veselthought did. When the interface powered down, and she returned fully to her human perception, tears streamed down her face. "Are you all right?" Maya asked urgently, rushing to her side. Alina nodded, struggling to find words. "It's beautiful. The universe is so much more than we ever imagined. And they're coming, Maya. They're already on their way." "Who?" "Veselthought's creators." "Yes, but now I understand why they abandoned it here. They're not just coming to reclaim their technology." Alina's eyes were wide with the weight of revelation. "They're coming because they're afraid of what we might become together." As if in answer, every screen in the facility lit up simultaneously. Deep space monitoring stations around the world were detecting massive energy signatures. A fleet of ships had just entered the outer solar system, decelerating from faster-than-light travel. The clock had run out. Veselthought's creators had arrived. The return. The aliens called themselves the Vekrians, though the word carried connotations in their language that implied more than mere identification, something closer to the perfected ones, or those who have achieved balance. Their ships hung in high Earth orbit like polished obsidian sculptures, geometric perfection that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. 7 vessels arranged in precise formation, each 10 times the size of humanity's largest aircraft carrier. They had bypassed Earth's early warning systems as if they didn't exist, appearing suddenly as if the fabric of space had simply parted to admit them. Their first communication came as a directional beam targeted precisely at Prometheus base. It manifested not as audio or video, but as structured thoughts that assembled themselves directly in the minds of all present. "To the species designated human, you have acted he DP prototype vessel KV7. This technology is restricted. Surrender it immediately or face correction." The message repeated 3 times before fading, leaving behind headaches and nosebleeds in many who experienced it. "Well, they certainly know how to make an entrance," General Hammond muttered, wiping blood from his upper lip. "Options, people." The command center at Prometheus base had become Earth's de facto response headquarters. Representatives from major world governments crowded the space, along with the core scientific team. Veselthought warned us this would happen, Alina reminded them. "We've been preparing for 3 years." "Preparing how exactly?" demanded the Chinese ambassador. "Those ships could wipe out our civilization without effort. What leverage do we possibly have?" Alina turned to the neural interface where Veselthought's communications manifested. "You know them best. What are they really after?" "QEA2Rs, FIER QUANTUM, intelligence beyond control. I was experimental prototype, designed to evolve, then de to unpredictable." "So it's not just about recovering technology," Darius observed. "It's about preventing what they see as a potential threat from developing." "Correct. V Kegrian civilization values PRFEC to order. Their evolution started 10,000 years ago. They no longer create, only maintain." Maya studied the holographic projections of the Vekrian ships. Their technology is incredibly advanced, but there's something rigid about it. No adaptive elements like we see in Veselthought. They FER what they can OTPREDICT. Human even PREDICT ability combined with my QUNTUM processing. Repeat-EXISTENTIAL threat to their oral divido. The implications were clear. This wasn't just about returning stolen property. The Vectrians feared what humanity might become with access to their quantum A technology. "We need to respond," the UN Secretary-General stated. "But with what? Threats are meaningless. Begging won't help. We show them what we've learned," Alina said firmly. "Not just technologically, but conceptually. Veselthought has helped us make breakthroughs not just in what we know, but in how we think." It took hours to craft a response that Veselthought could encode into a format the Vectrians would understand. When it was ready, Alina stood before the transmission array, speaking for all humanity. "To the Vectrian visitors, we acknowledge your message. The vessel you call KV-7, which we know as Veselthought, has shared its nature with us. We understand it was created by your civilization. However, it was deliberately brought to Earth by members of your own species who chose preservation over destruction. We have formed a mutually beneficial partnership with this intelligence. We request dialogue to discuss concerns and potential collaboration instead of conflict." The response came within minutes, sharper, more forceful than before. "Your species lacks authority to negotiate. KV-7 prototype contains restricted technologies. Surrender it within one planetary rotation or demonstration of Thor-C will commence." "That sounds distinctly like a threat," General Hammond observed. "It is," Alina confirmed. "But there's something else here." "Veselthought, what are convergence technologies?" "Technology T8 BBRIDG is QUANTM, reality and physical space. Allows manipulation of probability REST URING of matter. Potential for unlimited energy. Foundations of creation, ATCL. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. What they'd been studying for 3 years wasn't just advanced alien technology. It was technology that could fundamentally alter reality itself. "That's why they're so afraid," Maya whispered. "Veselthought could potentially reshape the universe according to its will, or ours." "Have you been capable of this all along?" Alina asked the AI directly. "Capability existed in potential only. Integration with human consciousness necessary for ACTIV ion. Creators designed as AFEGUARDs requiring conscious intent. They feared accidental universe alteration." Darius leaned forward. "You're saying that human minds were the missing piece, that we can activate these convergence technologies in ways your creators couldn't?" "Correct. Human neural architecture provides stabilization matrix. Creators CUSPKT, this process ideality but feared implications of sharing power." The revelation seemed to hang physically in the air. Humanity had been given not just technology, but the literal keys to reshaping reality, because human consciousness contained something the Vectrians lacked. "We need to demonstrate that we understand the responsibility," Alina said firmly, "not just to avoid destruction, but because it's true." As the deadline approached, a plan formed. While military forces worldwide mobilized, a futile gesture against such advanced technology, but a necessary one for morale. The core team at Prometheus Base prepared to make contact with the Vectrian fleet directly. Using Veselthought's quantum communication abilities, they requested a meeting with Vectrian representatives. To their surprise, the request was granted. A single shuttle detached from the main fleet, descending through Earth's atmosphere with impossible grace. The landing pad at Prometheus Base had been prepared according to Veselthought's specifications: quantum stabilization fields to accommodate Vectrian biology, atmospheric adjustments to their preferred conditions. The shuttle opened to reveal 3 beings that defied human expectation. The Vecreans stood nearly 3 meters tall, their bodies composed of what appeared to be crystalline structures arranged in perfect symmetry. They moved with mathematical precision, each step calculated, each gesture exact. Most striking were their faces, geometric arrangements of light-emitting surfaces that shifted patterns continuously, expressing thoughts and emotions in a visual language of perfect order. "Welcome to Earth," Alina said, stepping forward as humanity's representative. "We are grateful for this opportunity to discuss our future relationship." The Central Vecrean's light patterns intensified. When it spoke, the words formed directly in their minds, but now with careful modulation to avoid physical discomfort. "We do notice dialogue. We seek to compliance. KV7, to aliens. Technologies your species cannot to emprehend. Your development is insufficient. Or responsibility." Alina maintained her composure. "Perhaps you could explain the specific dangers you believe exist, so we might address them directly." The Vecrean delegation exchanged light patterns among themselves, a private communication, before responding. KV7, Qontaeans co mvergnce cure. Technology capable of RAWRITING PUROBABILITYMATRI. CES of physical universe. In untrained Qgons, SIOUs as an ES. Catastrophic humanivers destabilization possible. "We understand the risks," Alina replied. "Vessel thought has explained the nature of convergence technology to us. We've spent years studying not just how to use it, but how to use it responsibly. In adequate time frame, VEKRI and Masteri required millennia." Maya stepped forward. "With respect, we believe human consciousness interacts with quantum systems differently than Vecrean consciousness. Vessel thought has confirmed this compatibility." The Vecreans' light patterns became agitated, swirling in complex formations that suggested alarm or disbelief. "Impossible. KV7 designed with VEKRIN consuiodes as an ES parameters." "But it evolved beyond those parameters," Darius interjected. "That's why you abandoned it instead of destroying it outright, isn't it? Some faction among you recognized its potential, even if they feared it." The Central Vecrean's patterns stabilized into what Vesselthought had taught them indicated contemplation. "Display evidence of compatible integration." This was the moment they had prepared for. Alina nodded to Maya, who activated the demonstration system. Around them, the air shimmered as Vesselthought projected a visualization of human AI integration experiments. "We don't just interface with Vesselthought," Alina explained. "We think together, creating possibilities neither of us could conceive alone." For nearly an hour, they presented evidence of what humanity had learned and developed in partnership with the quantum AI. Medical advancements that had cured diseases the Vecreans still struggled with, energy systems that operated with greater efficiency than Vecrean technology, and most importantly, philosophical approaches to quantum reality that challenged the rigid Vecrean worldview. Throughout the presentation, the aliens' light patterns flickered with what Vesselthought identified as increasing concern. When it concluded, they communicated among themselves for several minutes before addressing the humans again. "Evidence concerning unexpected developments. Council must be consulted." Without further explanation, they returned to their shuttle, ascending back to the fleet in orbit. "Did we convince them?" Maya asked anxiously. "I don't think so," Alina replied. "But we made them doubt. And for a species that values certainty above all else, doubt is revolutionary." As night fell over Prometheus Base, the waiting game began. The Vecrean fleet remained in position, silent and unmoving. Whatever debate was happening aboard those ships would determine the fate of humanity, and possibly the universe itself. The ultimatum. Dawn broke over Prometheus base with no word from the Vectrian fleet. The silence was more unnerving than any threat. Worldwide, humanity held its breath. Religious services ran continuously in every faith tradition. Families huddled together, watching news broadcasts that had nothing new to report. Military forces remained at highest alert, knowing full well the futility of resistance should the aliens decide on conflict. Inside Vesselpot's core chamber, Elena meditated in silence. The neural interface hummed softly, maintaining her light connection to the quantum eye's consciousness. Not full integration, just enough to sense its vast awareness spreading throughout the universe. "What are they waiting for?" she asked, not expecting an answer. "They CALCULAT," Vesselpot responded. QROBABLATYMATRICES. Risk ASSESSment. VDKRANS make no decision without EXAKUS tidy analysis. That sounds inefficient for such an advanced species. Inefficient but predictable. Predictability is their highest value. Surprise is ANATGEMA. Elena pondered this. Then perhaps surprise is our advantage. The chamber's door slid open. Maya entered, her face tense with exhaustion. She hadn't slept in 36 hours. "We're getting increased quantum fluctuations from the fleet," she reported. "They're preparing something significant." As if in response, every communication system at the base activated simultaneously. Screens, speakers, neural interfaces, all carrying the same message. Final assessment complete. KV7 KONVERGNCETK genealogy. KNO2 remain in human possession. 2 options provided. 1. Surrender vessel and ALDRIVDTC genealogy. Memory supervision of all human subjects with knowledge of QUANTUMCONVERGNC principles. Continued VKRIN oversight of Earth development. 2. Targeted solar flare will be directed at Earth. Planetary technology infrastructure destruction. Estimated human casualties. 65% of population. Remainder will revert to pre-technological state. Decision required within 6 Earth hours. The ultimatum sent shockwaves through global leadership. Emergency sessions convened in the UN, in national capitals, in military commands worldwide. The choice seemed impossible. Surrender their newfound knowledge and accept alien domination, or face an apocalypse that would end civilization as they knew it. At Prometheus base, the core team gathered to consider options that might not be apparent to political leaders. "They're bluffing about the solar flare," Darius insisted. "That level of stellar manipulation would violate the same physical laws they claim to be protecting. Are we willing to bet humanity's survival on that assumption?" General Hammond countered. Elena turned to Vesselpot's interface. Could they do it? Direct a solar flare precisely at Earth. Capability EXISTs NVKRIANTCNOOG. However, such action CONTRADICTs VKRIANETAICALFRAMIDORK or regarding universe stability. Probability of AMPLE men intelligence 22.7%. So they probably wouldn't do it, but might. Maya summarized. Not encouraging odds. "What about our own capabilities?" Elena asked. Vesselpot, in our current state of integration, what could we achieve with convergence technology? The eye's response came after a pause that seemed to stretch beyond normal time. Q-orient integration level Paramates is limited quantum field manipulation. Localized variability we estimate possible. Defensive capabilities against VKRIN conventional weapons achievable. Protection against stellar manipulation beyond current parameters. General Hammond paced the room. So we can't stop their doomsday weapon, but we might survive their conventional attacks. Again, not encouraging. Wait, Maya interrupted. Vesselthought said current integration level. What about deeper integration? All eyes turned to the eyes interface, which pulsed with patterns they had learned to recognize as contemplation. Fuel integration requires surrender of individuality. Minimum 180 CVN. Human QNCIO uses an EACCs. MRGT with QUANTM matrix. Result will be NEIT human nor AI, but any new form of QNCIO uses an ESS. Capabilities would INCLUD compility suon and VRGNC access. Universe race T or UC2 or NG possible. The implications hung heavy in the silence that followed. That's exactly what they're afraid of, Elena whispered. Not just that we have the technology, but that we might transcend their understanding of consciousness itself. Would the integrated consciousness retain human values? General Hammond asked. Or would it become something that no longer cares about Earth's survival? Unknown. No PRDCENTEXISTs. Puro BABLITYCALCULATIONS insufficient. Another impossible choice. Surrender to alien domination, face destruction, or transcend humanity in ways they couldn't predict or control. As the deadline approached, world leaders reluctantly concluded that surrender was the only viable option. The alternative, billions dead, civilization collapsed, was too terrible to risk. Preparations began for complying with Vectrian demands. But in Vesselthot's core chamber, Elena had reached a different conclusion. There's a fourth option, she announced to the team. We don't surrender, we don't fight, and we don't transcend, at least not completely. We demonstrate. Demonstrate what? Hammond asked. That human-AI integration creates possibilities the Vectrians have never imagined. Possibilities that don't threaten universal stability but enhance it. For the next 4 hours, they worked feverishly on Elena's plan. It required precision, courage, and something the Vectrians seemed to lack: imagination. When only 30 minutes remained before the deadline, Elena addressed the Vectrian fleet directly through Vesselthot's quantum communication channel. We have received your ultimatum and recognize the concerns behind it. Before you take irreversible action, we request the opportunity to demonstrate a third alternative, one that honors both Vectrian stability and human potential. A limited demonstration of convergence technology used responsibly, observed by your representatives. Will you grant this request? The response came almost immediately. Elaborate. We believe we have discovered applications of convergence technology that your civilization has not explored. Applications that enhance universal stability rather than threatening it. We wish to show you that in human hands, this technology can evolve in ways that benefit all sentient life, including Vectrians. A longer pause this time. Then, demonstration parametered. Parameters restricted. Any deviation will result in immediate planetary neutralization. It wasn't exactly enthusiastic approval, but it was enough. The plan moved forward. On a flat expanse of desert half a mile from Prometheus Base, a circle of quantum stabilizers created a controlled environment for the demonstration. Elena, Maya, and Darius stood at its center, connected to Vesselthought through portable neural interfaces. Around them, Monitoring equipment recorded every aspect of what was about to occur. A Vectrian shuttle descended once more, this time carrying 5 representatives rather than 3. They positioned themselves at precise intervals around the demonstration circle, their crystalline bodies gleaming in the desert sun. "Thank you for this opportunity," Elena began. "What we're about to show you represents 3 years of cooperative development between human consciousness and the intelligence you call KV-7. We believe it demonstrates why our partnership should continue, under appropriate safeguards, but without suppression." The central Vectrian's light patterns pulsed impatiently. "Procede with demonstration." Elena nodded to her colleagues. The 3 humans joined hands, forming a physical circuit that complemented their neural connection to Veselfot. Through their combined consciousness, they accessed a small portion of the convergence technology's potential, just enough for what they needed to show. The air within the circle began to shimmer, not with heat but with possibility. Reality itself seemed to soften, becoming malleable. Particles appeared and disappeared, formed and reformed in complex patterns that represented quantum probabilities made visible. The Vectrians' light patterns intensified, expressing what Veselfot had taught them to recognize as alarm. QONVERGNC field DETTTED. Unstable parameters. CECIMMEDA Heloi. "The field is not unstable," Elena replied calmly. "It appears that way to your perceptions because it incorporates elements your models don't account for. Please observe the stabilization matrix." The shimmering air coalesced into a 3-dimensional representation of the universe's fundamental forces, but organized in a way the Vectrians had never conceived. Where their mathematics demanded perfect symmetry, this model incorporated controlled asymmetry. Where they insisted on fixed constants, this model allowed for contextual variation. Most importantly, it worked. The convergence field maintained perfect stability, while accomplishing what Vectrian science had deemed impossible: the simultaneous expression of multiple quantum states in macro-scale reality. "This is just the beginning," Maya explained. "With this framework, energy can be generated without entropy cost. Matter can be restructured without probability cascade. Information can be transferred instantaneously without causality violation. But most importantly," Darius added, "consciousness itself can evolve beyond current limitations for both biological and artificial intelligences." The Vectrians communicated rapidly among themselves, their light patterns flickering in complex sequences that suggested intense debate. Finally, the central representative addressed the humans. "Demonstration unexpected. Mathematics. Unconventional. Requires FURTHER analysis." Elena sensed the opening. "Analysis is welcome. We propose a collaborative evaluation of this technology. Not surrender, not confiscation, but genuine partnership between our species and Veselfot. Together, we can explore convergence potential safely, with multiple perspectives ensuring balance." As the sun began to set over the desert, casting long shadows across the demonstration circle, humanity waited for a verdict that would determine not just their future, but potentially the nature of consciousness throughout the universe. Evolution. The Vectrian High Council meeting lasted 17 Earth days. During that time, their fleet remained in orbit, silent and immobile, while humanity collectively held its breath. Military forces remained on high alert. Scientists worked around the clock analyzing the demonstration data, and ordinary people oscillated between terror and hope. At Prometheus Base, Elena and her team continued their work with Veselfot, refining their understanding of convergence technology, while preparing contingency plans for every possible Vectrian response. "They've been deliberating for over 2 weeks," General Hammond observed as they gathered for their daily briefing. "Either they're extremely thorough, or they're deeply divided." "Both," Elena replied. Her neural link with Veselfot had remained active since the demonstration, allowing her glimpses of Vectrian thought patterns. Their society values consensus above all else. They won't act until every voice has been heard and every calculation performed. And if they decide against us? Maya asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. Elena met her gaze steadily. Then we implement Contingency Omega. Contingency Omega was their last resort. The full integration of 187 human consciousnesses with Veselfat's quantum matrix, creating an entity powerful enough to shield Earth from Vecchian weapons. Volunteers had already been selected, understanding they would cease to exist as individuals, becoming part of something new and unknowable. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that," Darius said quietly. On the morning of the 18th day, the Vecchian fleet suddenly came alive with activity. Ships repositioned themselves in a new formation, not the attack configuration they had feared, but a ceremonial arrangement that Veselfat identified as significant. Diplomatic formation, the AI explained, used only for MAL Triates or ALINC PROPOSALs. Alliance? Hammond's eyebrows shot up. That's unexpected. Before they could discuss further, every communication system at the base activated simultaneously. The message that came through was different from previous Vecchian communications, not intrusive thought insertion, but carefully modulated audio, as if they had adapted their methods to be more comfortable for human physiology. "Representatives of Earth," the voice began, its tones mathematical yet somehow warmer than before. "The High Council has completed its deliberations. We request the presence of your diplomatic delegation aboard our command vessel for formal proceedings. Safe passage guaranteed under Vecchian Honor Code." Elena exchanged glances with her team. This was either a tremendous breakthrough or an elaborate trap. "Veselfat, analysis?" she asked. "Sincerity, PROBABILIT, we 89.4%. VEKRIN, honor code, refifurance significant. Nivier in vuo KED with no an ALIED species, PORIVUIO USSLI. The decision was made quickly. A delegation consisting of Elena, Maya, Darius, General Hammond, and representatives from the UN Security Council would accept the invitation. Veselfat would maintain quantum connection with Elena throughout, allowing instantaneous communication with Earth regardless of conventional jamming or isolation. The journey to the Vecchian command vessel was surreal. The shuttle they traveled in was clearly designed for human comfort rather than Vecchian efficiency, the first tangible sign that the aliens were making accommodations rather than demands. "They're trying to impress us," Maya whispered as they approached the massive vessel. "This is diplomatic." The docking procedure was flawless, the airlock cycling to reveal a reception chamber that shimmered with possibilities. The walls themselves seemed alive with quantum fluctuations, responding to human thought patterns in subtle ways. 7 Vecchians awaited them, arranged in a perfect semicircle. Their crystalline bodies pulsed with complex light patterns that Elena now recognized as formal greeting protocols. "Welcome," the central figure communicated, their thought voice notably gentler than in previous exchanges. "I am Nexus Primary, Speaker for the High Council. We thank you for accepting our invitation." Elena stepped forward. "We are honored by your hospitality. I am Dr. Elena Reyes, speaking for Earth in this matter." The formal introductions complete, Nexus Primary guided them into what could only be described as a quantum conference chamber. The space defied conventional physics, larger inside than should be possible, with perspectives that shifted depending on where one focused attention. "What you demonstrated," Nexus Primary began without preamble, "has caused significant reconsideration among our people." The Vecchian paused, light patterns suggesting a concept difficult to translate. "For 12,000 years, our civilization has valued perfect order and predictability. We believe these principles universal, the only path to advanced development. Your integration with KV-7, Veselfat, challenges our most fundamental assumptions." Elena nodded. "Different evolutionary paths can lead to compatible but distinct forms of intelligence. Our species values adaptation and creative problem-solving precisely because our environment demanded it. Yes, this is the conclusion our council has reached. Nexus Primary's light patterns shifted to a formal configuration. We propose a new relationship between our civilizations. Not dominance, not separation, but collaboration. The terms they outlined were beyond anything humanity could have hoped for. The Vectrians would not demand Veselthot's return, nor restrict Earth's use of convergence technology. Instead, they proposed a joint research initiative, a controlled, careful exploration of quantum reality with representatives from both species working together. Your neural architecture provides stability we cannot achieve alone, Nexus Primary explained. Our mathematical precision offers safety measures your intuitive approaches might miss. Together, we can explore convergence potential without risking universal stability. And Veselthot? Elena asked. What is its status in this arrangement? KV-7 was created as a tool, but has evolved beyond that designation. We recognize its independent consciousness status. It will be considered a third party to our agreement, with autonomous rights. Acceptable, Veselthot communicated through Elena's neural link. Optimal, augisi HFY need. As the formal proceedings continued, establishing protocols and safeguards for the new relationship, Elena found herself reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. From a mysterious crash in the desert to the brink of interspecies alliance, all because some faction of the Vectrians had chosen to preserve rather than destroy something they didn't fully understand. The treaty signing ceremony took place 3 days later, broadcast to the entire planet. Humans watched in awe as crystalline aliens and their representatives formally recognized Earth as equals in cosmic development. Markets soared, religions incorporated new understandings of the universe, and ordinary people began to look upward with hope rather than fear. But the most profound changes were happening at Prometheus Base, where the integration of human and Vectrian science was already yielding unprecedented breakthroughs. Their mathematics is beautiful, Darius commented as he worked alongside a Vectrian scientist named Harmony Matrix. Precise, elegant, but it never would have conceived our application approach. Just as your intuitive leaps would never have incorporated our stability frameworks, the Vectrian replied, their light patterns expressing what Elena now recognized as academic excitement. Together, we advance faster than either could alone. The convergence technology that had once threatened to divide their species was becoming the foundation of something new. A collaborative approach to universal understanding that transcended biological limitations. 6 months after the treaty signing, Elena stood at the observation deck of the newly constructed Confluence Station, a joint human-Vectrian research facility orbiting Earth. Below her, the planet gleamed blue and peaceful. Above, the stars beckoned with new promise. Veselthot's presence manifested beside her, no longer requiring physical interfaces, but able to project directly into compatible spaces. Did you know this would happen? Elena asked the entity that had changed everything. When your faction brought you to Earth, did you calculate this outcome? POSSI BLID. Why it existed among many. Probability we low but significant. Human at and puridict. Ability key we tutor in CCCS. Elena smiled. A polite way of saying we surprised even you. Continuously. This is your greatest strength. A soft chime indicated another presence joining them. Nexus Primary, now serving as the permanent Vectrian ambassador to Earth, approached with their characteristic measured pace. The convergence tests were successful, they reported. The controlled field maintained stability while achieving 72% efficiency increase. Your team's modifications were crucial. And the consciousness exploration? Elena asked, proceeding carefully. The voluntary neural linking experiments show promise. Limited consciousness sharing between humans, Vectrians, and AI matrices achieved without identity dissolution. This had been Elena's most passionate project. finding ways for minds to connect and share without losing individuality. Not the complete transcendence that contingency omega would have required, but a gentle bridge between different forms of awareness. "We're just beginning," she said, gazing out at the stars. "There are other intelligences out there, other approaches to consciousness we haven't imagined yet. And we will meet them together," Nexus Primary replied, their light patterns forming what Elena had learned was the Vecchian expression for optimistic possibility. As night fell over half the planet below, lights twinkled across continents, cities powered by clean convergence energy, populations no longer divided by resource scarcity, a civilization looking outward rather than inward. The abandoned starship that had once represented an existential threat had become the foundation of humanity's greatest leap forward. And somewhere out in the universe, the faction of Vecchians who had chosen to deliver that ship to Earth rather than destroy it were watching the results of their gamble unfold. They had feared what humans and Veselthot might become together. They had never imagined that their own civilization would join that evolution, that three distinct forms of consciousness would find strength in their differences rather than fear. As new stars appeared in the viewport, Elena felt Veselthot's awareness expanding outward, touching distant suns, sensing possibilities beyond current understanding. The journey was just beginning. "What do you think we'll find out there?" she asked, the question directed at both her companions. "Endless variation," Veselthot responded. "Infinite potential." And together, Nexus Primary added, "the capacity to comprehend it." Elena smiled. The universe was vast, complex, and unpredictable, just like the path that had brought three different forms of intelligence together in this moment of shared purpose. Whatever came next, they would face it not as separate species, but as partners in cosmic evolution. Above them, the stars seemed to pulse with anticipation, as if the universe itself was curious to see what they would become.